Hi, my name's Al and today I'm going to show you how to replace your PF30 press fit bottom bracket. Tool wise, you're not going to need an awful lot. To remove the BB, you're going to need your old friend, the hammer, and a punch as well. To fit the new BB, then you're going to need some means of pressing the cups into the BB shell. You can either use a proper tool, like a BB12 tool from Shimano, or you can bodge it with a couple of washers on some threaded rod and a couple of nuts. First thing that we need to do is we need to remove the chain set so we can get at the bottom bracket. So on this SRAM BB30 chain set, we need to undo the self-extracting bolt on this side, which is done with an 8mm Allen key. If you can, try and orientate the Allen key like that so you can grab the crank arm and the Allen key and give it a squeeze. Just makes it easier to undo the first quarter of a turn, which is normally super tight on these. With the right hand side removed, we need to remove all the spacers and tap the left hand side out along with the axle. So remove any spacers and note their orientation because you're going to need to refit them, and then tap out the axle and the left hand crank arm. With the chain set and the spacers out of the way, it's time to grab your punch and your hammer and remove the old BB. If we start with the non-drive side, so we're punching through from this direction, you'll be able to see there's a lip behind the bearing. Work your way around the cup with the punch, so you're tapping it out evenly, because you don't want to put too much force in one area. The bigger the punch, the better, so you're spreading the impact as well, and hopefully it'll come out without too much trouble. It's worth checking your owner's manual to see how your cups were fitted from the factory. This specialised stump jumper, the earlier bikes were fitted dry, but later ones were fitted with epoxy, so they're obviously going to be a bit more trouble to remove, but the method's still the same. With the non-drive side cup out, it's time to work on the drive side. So now we're on the other side of the bike and we're going to remove the drive side cup. Now there's a spacer, like a tube in the middle here, which is attached to the drive side cup. So although it's going in the bin, to avoid it shattering and breaking, coming out in lots of little pieces, it's a good idea to get a big washer, or what we've got here is a bit of a Shimano BB press, and put that in the BB shell, so when you hit it, then you're spreading the force over the whole of the BB cup. It's a bit stubborn, but it's on its way. And there we go. Before we fit our new bottom bracket, we need to give the bottom bracket shell a thorough clean with some alcohol and some paper towels or a clean cloth. We're fitting a Chris King bottom bracket here in the hope that it will last a fair bit longer than the standard unit that was in the bike. There's shims fitted on the inside of the bearings, and these need to be removed for fitting. Just ease them out, it's one on either side, and then we're ready to pop it into the frame. This particular bottom bracket requires some adapter cups to fit, so this fitting tool fits in the bearing, which means that we're pressing on the cup. Now that's going to be the same for all press fit bottom brackets. If you're pressing on the bearing, you're going to destroy it. So whatever you use, whether it's a homemade press with a threaded rod and some big washers, just make sure that they're pressing onto the cup and not the bearing. What we're going to do next is pop a small amount of Loctite onto the cup. And this will help to prevent creaks later on. With the Loctite on, we can assemble our press. Just make sure that everything is straight and nicely lined up before we start pressing the cups in. With everything lined up, it's time to press the cups home. Just snug them right down, you don't need to lean on it. And that's that, they're in. Okay, so remove the tool. Clean off any excess Loctite. And then you're ready, in the case of this Chris King bottom bracket, to snap the shims that you removed earlier back into place. And that's the BB installed. We're now ready to refit our chain set, so give the axle area a good clean and get it in there. In the case of this SRAM XO chain set, XO1, then we just need to back off the preload adjuster as far as it will go. That's the spacer which takes up the gap between the BB shell and the crank arm. Lots of grease on the axle and pass it through from the non-drive side. Got our spacer and finally our drive side crank arm. This needs to be torqued to approximately 50 Newton meters, but other cranks will differ, so make sure you check. Depends on the system that you've got, but on a PF30 chain set like this from SRAM, we need to adjust any slack out of the system by turning the preload collar anti-clockwise, so in the direction of the arrow, which makes it wider, takes up the slack. Check that there's no side-to-side play, no rocking. If it's all solid, then we nip up the screw here, which pinches the adjuster together and prevents it from coming loose. So that's it. BB fitted, crank spinning nicely, all ready to hit the trails. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.